Do you know how much it costs to rent the gear to do a photo shoot? This is important to know if you're renting gear, and it's also important to know if you own the gear that you use. Let me ask you another question. Would you do a photo shoot for free if you were renting the gear? Probably not, because that wouldn't make a lot of sense, because you would actually be paying to do a photo shoot. There are a lot of benefits to renting gear, financially and also mentally, especially as a business owner. And today, we are going to discuss 3 reasons why you should be renting gear. Reason number 1, renting gear keeps the price of operation in the forefront of your mind. When you buy gear, we have a tendency to sort of forget how much we paid for it over time. At first you save and you save and you save, and you finally get this piece of new gear and you value it because you just know how much you paid for it, for that $3,899 camera. But over time, that thought sort of falls in the background. And before you know it, you're using it for family events, which is fine. And you know what? Every now and again, you may even do some things for free, simply because you have this gear at the house and you know what? It's just sitting there, and why not put it to good use? But when you are renting equipment, your mind frame is completely different. First of all, you know there's a limit to how long you're going to have it for, so you try to make good use of that equipment. And the bigger thing is, you know the daily fee of how much it costs to have this equipment. So it is super valuable because that dollar amount is in the forefront of your mind, so you want to make the best of it. I feel that this mind frame is extremely useful for if you're renting equipment or if you own the equipment, because either way, you are paying a cost and you are adding value simply by showing up with this gear if you've rented it or if you own it. So either way, you need to sort of have that rented equipment gear mind frame whenever you show up to do a photo shoot. Reason number 2, knowing the value of your equipment using rental fees helps you set a baseline for your pricing for doing photo shoots. It takes the guesswork out of coming up with your prices that you offer your customers. For example, when I come to do an event shoot, I have an R5, R6 Mark II, 70-200, 50mm, 35mm, 15-35. I bring 2 strobes with me with soft boxes, with stands. I also need cards, and I also need batteries, and I also need a bag. So just to have my equipment show up without me is $749.34. that's just the equipment showing up with nobody actually using it. So which means that I'm not charging enough for events. It's been eye-opening for me as well. Another example is for a portrait shoot. I show up with my R5, a 50 millimeter, 70-200. I bring a strobe with me and batteries, memory cards, and a bag. For all these things for me to just show up to a portrait shoot, it cost me $392.61 for my gear alone. So this showed me again, I'm not charging enough for my portrait shoots either. So it really helps you look at how much you're charging and balance the things out, because if you shoot for anything less than this price, you know what that means? That means you are actually paying to do a photo shoot. And when we own the equipment, sometimes it's easy to forget how much this equipment costs on a daily basis. So when you walk in with a rented equipment mind frame, it helps you come up with a baseline that actually makes sense. And from there, you can add your hourly fees, your insurance, your gas, and any other expenses so that you come up with a number that actually makes sense. Reason number 3, renting gear exposes you to the best gear. I have a Canon R5, and even though I have a Canon R5, I was curious about the Canon R3. So you know what I did? I rented the Canon R3. And you know what that helped me do? It helped me from blowing thousands of dollars, or even just wanting to know what this camera was all about. I was able to rent it and see what the hype was all about with the R3. You know what I found out? It actually was just too big for me. It's something that I didn't actually need for what I was trying to do. And it saved me thousands of dollars. Or you know what? At least it saved me the peace of mind from knowing that I didn't even need this expensive piece of gear. You may be wondering, what's the difference between a $2,000 camera and a $4,000 camera and a $6,000 camera? Well, there's an easy way to figure this out. And you know what that is? Rent it. Try it out, put your hands on it, and see what it's all about. And that is the most practical way for you to answer those questions. You may be wondering, what is this red ring about on these lenses? Well, you know what you can do? You can rent it and you can see what the difference is between an L lens and the kit lens that comes with the camera. And you may be surprised. So, renting allows you to be exposed to some of the best gear around without making the thousands of dollar commitment to figure out if you really, really want it or if you actually really need it. So let's get down to the final thought. And that is, whether you are renting your gear or if you own the equipment that you shoot with, don't forget the value that that gear holds. And don't take it for granted, and don't let others take it for granted either. But if you're renting or you're owning your gear, my hope is that you are using it, and I also hope that you are enjoying it. Listen, until next time, peace.